Purple eye in the canyon. That's where I long to be with my three.
This must be your first movie.
Chancey W. Oh, hey, this takes me back to the beginning. What does the W stand for?
Wild.
Come on now.
Yeah.
Chancey Wild?
Yep. They knew.
What part of your life was that? That sounds like a different part of your life that we're probably not supposed to talk about.
Yeah, I can't talk about
the
that
days
part.
in Laramie.
Mm-hmm.
The days in Laramie.
My college days, I went to college for 7 years.
You really? No, but that's not fair. Didn't you get a master's degree?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I went for 7.5 years if you count my internship.
Yeah, but isn't that normal? Oh, no, you did one extra year, right?
For what?
for school. What?
No, I went 7. Well, 5 undergrad and 2 master's degree. Yeah.
But in a master's degree normally too, anyways?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got that done on time.
So the bachelor's degree was the one you...
Yeah, it was college rodeo and didn't go to all my classes.
You weren't a bad student. I don't even see you being
No,
a
I
bad
was good
student.
at college. There's ways to be good at college. Like I would go the first week and sign up for like 30 credit hours. You're supposed to take like 15 a semester. And then the first week go to every class and you figure out which like professors were fun and nice and not a-holes. And the ones that were a-holes, and you just drop all those classes. So it makes your semester a lot easier.
That was probably a different time too in
Yeah.
Laramie, wasn't it? It's changed a bunch since then, hadn't it?
Yeah.
Or the school.
Yeah. Yeah. I assume like I live on campus basically. I live right across from the school in Laramie. I have a house there. But yeah, dude, college is awesome. I got good at it. It's fun.
Yeah.
But I don't know these days, like I think for kids that know what they want to do, like I don't know if I used to tell everybody they should go to college because it's tons of fun. And I think every kid from like small towns should go to college for like a year just to get out of your hometown.
Just from small towns?
Well, all towns, just to meet new people and learn
Yeah.
how to socialize with other people. But I don't know if you want to be a Bronc rider or a singer or something, maybe, and you're going to do that. I would just get started on that now. Like I wish I would have. I'm glad I have a master's degree. It's fun to talk about in podcasts and stuff. But if I knew I was going to like seriously end up just as music as a profession, I'd have started sooner and like probably like went to Nashville or Texas somewhere and dug in
Rather than going to school.
Yeah.
Like you wouldn't have gone to school for some type of like music, something.
I don't know. I mean, part of me thinks like, what if I would have went to Belmont, and just not to like, I mean, you learn some things, but all the connections, all those kids that go to Belmont learn and meet out of being in Nashville and the scene. Like the whole industry is ran by a lot of people that went to Belmont.
I know I was just talking to a couple dudes that have recently signed big major record deals. And like one of their biggest frustrations, it's like kind of across the board. What I hear from all of them is they're like, well, man, it's like, I get this like marketing team that is a bunch of like 21-year-olds that just graduated from freaking Belmont that think they like know everything about the industry. And then they're all like barking at them. That was like all of their like across the board. That was their number one complaint.
Well, in that town, it's a small town. Everybody knows everybody. So somebody that you graduated with from school down there probably works at some label or some management company or some booking agency. So it's all about who you know. And so back to what I was saying, like if I'd have known I'd done music, maybe I'd have just spent more time in Nashville earlier. Not that Nashville's the cure all to it, but it is kind of the center where most of the music business happens.
It's such a double-edged sword because like you built something so big in Wyoming and regionally in Colorado and where you're at out there, and you maybe wouldn't. It might not be as strong if.
I think I'd have still done what I did out west. The Dakotas, Montana, Wyoming, Colorado, and everything west. I just think I'd have spent a little bit more time focused on like writing and relationships and stuff in Nashville.
When did you really start going there? Was that when you like kind of went to go cut that record with?
Yeah, so I moved down there to do an internship for my master's degree. I worked for TKO, Artist Management, and Show Dog Records was Toby Keith's record label and manager, TK. And so just met a lot of people. And while I was there, I did my first record. I didn't really have a band anymore.
What year was that?
2008-ish. Yeah, 2008.
So Toby wasn't touring super hard at that point, was he?
No, he was. That's when they had like Big Dog Daddy album out and they were cutting new albums. They were touring hard. It was cool to like see that side of it. I knew nothing about the music business when I went out there. I got a band in Wyoming. That was eye-opening to see all the inside stuff.
And y'all were grinding though.
Yeah, well at that point, so I had a band, started the band in high school just, for fun, but it was rodeo. And so went to college, to Casper College on a rodeo scholarship. So that was the main thing. It was just, I was just going to ride bucking horses, but kind of had the band as a fun thing. So we'd pick up, it was a good college job. We'd play the bars around the tri-state area. But, I wasn't really focused on that. It was just kind of for fun. And then, what was the question?
How you ended up, well, y'all were grinding at the time.
Oh, yeah.
With
so
the band.
So the history of that. So we were going pretty good. Nick and Joe, my two original members, Nick became a pharmacist and Joe had quit. So then we hired another guy named Gabe Springsteen, which is Wyatt's brother. So we were all playing, me and Nick and Gabe and Travis, our old drummer, were playing. Then Gabe died in a car wreck on the way to one of our shows.
No shit.
Yeah, so it was like Wyatt's brother. And we'd never met Wyatt yet.
That was Wyatt's brother?
Yeah. So
Wyatt's your guitar player now.
Yeah. Wyatt's been with me since then. So at that point in time, the band kind of disbanded. So Nick became a pharmacist, Gabe had passed away, and it was just me playing bass and our old drummer. So I moved to Nashville to do that internship. So it was just kind of on my own. And then while I was in Nashville, I did that record, Honky Tonk Road, and I cold called Wyatt. I'd met Wyatt basically at the funeral.
Wow.
Said, hey man, I'm going to start touring out west again, put a band back together. You want to be my lead guitar player? And he was teaching school in Denver. I was like, I'm in. He's been with me ever since. Yeah, those crazy times. Like Gabe played piano and guitar. That green guitar that Wyatt plays was actually in the car wreck. Gabe was borrowing that guitar from Wyatt. And it was like pretty heavy, but like they had to like cut that guitar out of the car, but not a scratch on it.
That's crazy. At the show last night, because y'all were playing in Denton last night at the North Texas Rodeo. And if you didn't remember, I thought I'd remind you of that. But anyways, I was standing there with my wife watching y'all play, and Wyatt took a solo, and he had that green guitar on. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
And I was like, he always has he's got the coolest freaking guitars.
Yeah.
She was like, that's my favorite one that he's had, because he's got like a few that he rotates.
Yeah,
through.
those are Stone Tree guitars.
So we were actually talking about that guitar last night.
Yeah, there's a guy in Wyoming. Well, he's moved away from Wyoming that made all those guitars. His name's Scott Platts, but it was Stone Tree guitars. But he's made guitars for Steve Earle and Watson and all those guys. But that guy used to play in Wyatt's dad's band.
No kidding.
So like it's super tight, that circle of guitars and the meaning of that. But yeah, so basically when I moved to Nashville, I didn't really have a band. We had a band. And then I moved back, hired Wyatt. Joe, my original guitar player, came back and was going to fill in for the summer. We're just kind of rough sounding, and then I met Brooke in June of 2008. So her and Wyatt have been in the band the same amount of time. And Brooke came and auditioned and has been in since Wyatt too. Wyatt's been in like 1 month longer than Brooke.
Did you, I don't know, it might be too hard to choose. They're so different, but did you want to rodeo professionally?
Yeah, I mean, I did. I think after I moved to Nashville, like loved music more than rodeo, and I was still rodeoing. I would go to some, but it was like Chris LeDoux song Riding for a Fall. Like I didn't really want to be there. I was just kind of going to go. I rode in Denver, so I pro rodeoed a little bit after college. I think the last place I rode was Denver at the stock show. But like rodeo is one of those things. Like if you don't want it,
Oh gosh,
like you're wasting your money.
Especially in general. But Yeah, especially in a rough stock event because you have the physical ramifications of not being in it either.
Yeah.
Like at least if you're just team roping or something. Like,
yeah, and you can do that for fun. Like you can
Yeah.
team rope a long time in your life till you're older, But rough stock, if your head's not in it and you don't want it, I got that way. I was just kind of getting bucked off and just kind of going. And then I was picking up too. So I was picking up some rodeos as a picket man and riding at some and then trying to play music. And it was just too many things. I think I was kind of mediocre at all three for a while there. So wasn't riding Broncs as good as I should have been. Was picking up a lot, loving it, but it didn't really pay that good. And we were just kind of playing music on the side. And my dad just said, "Hey, you should pick one and do it really good."
So was that after you had gone to Nashville? You kind of or you weren't rodeoing at all by the time you went to Nashville?
No, I was still rodeoing. Went to Nashville. Yeah,
okay.
Not a lot, but
and so was that a moment that like it kind of got your attention more? Where
I just thought like when I was in Nashville and being in Toby's camp and stuff and seeing, it's as it's a super crazy game, the music business. Like if you're the best bronc rider, you win the most. If you're the best artist or work the hardest, you're supposed to be. If it's like any other job, you should succeed more than other guys that aren't trying harder. But the music business is different than that. It's whoever gets the luckiest or knows somebody. I mean, you still have to be good, but maybe you don't have to be good, but
yeah, it's so definitely weird. But I mean, that's part of the magic of it is that it's just opinions,
right? And that's what we've always just done our own thing. But yeah, the choice between riding Broncs professionally further and music was hard. Like I still miss the thought of getting on. Like if God could guarantee me I wouldn't get hurt tomorrow, I would go get on one today.
Sure.
Like if I had a pass that you will not get injured at all, I'd go get on 5 today. But if you haven't been doing it, you're out of shape, you could break your neck and it could change your life.
Yeah, even if you are in shape and been riding it, I mean, shit happens.
Well, it's just, the rodeo thing's crazy. I've watched it over years and everybody knows this. But like those kids, those bronc riders and bareback riders and bull riders that are 21, 20 are hungry and like they have no fear. Once you get a little in your 30s, you maybe broke your leg or your arm or something, you hesitate a hair. And that's the difference between those guys. These young kids are being 90, 91 every weekend. If you're 35 and you've broke your arm before, there's a moment in that ride where you hesitate. Because like, and that's the difference between being 90 and 85 sometimes.
Yeah, so in the moment, you can't be thinking at all.
Those young guys are so hungry for it. And the caliber of horses and bronc riders and bareback riders has come up so much since I rode. Like, it's unbelievable. Those bronc riders, like the bronc riders, the top 40 could go to the NFR. And if you watch the standings, it changes every week. So somebody that was 20 last week is now 10 this week. But that guy goes from 10 this week. Next week, he's back at 20. So if you're not drawing the right ones at the weekends toward the end of the year here, and you're not 90, you ain't winning any money. Mm-hmm. It's crazy. But
how do you think the horses have changed?
Like I've heard the interviews from them old timers. There were these type broncs back when I was riding, and even before I was riding, there just wasn't as many of them. So like, there's more horses that are 23-point horses now than there ever was. Like back in the day, say like the Billy Etbauer era and stuff, there were these type horses, but there was only a few around. So if you drew them, you were going to win. But now it's getting where there's a whole pen full of 22, 23-point horses and because like I said, all those guys are riding as good as each other, whether it's like, Zeke Thurston or Brody Wells or the Hay Boys, all those guys are capable of being 91 or 90 every weekend. It's just who draws the black tie or whatever horse is the one there, so
yeah, I guess
I don't think it's really, and I would say the bronc riding, there's the style and the way these young guys rode has evolved. I can't put my thumb on it because I'm not really in the rodeo scene anymore, but they've gotten better, and it's probably back to like, if you watch or listen to those podcasts of Casey Field and stuff, the way they're starting these bronc riders and bareback riders when they're young, like we were getting on shit, like anything that the neighboring ranchers had that bucked, we would get on, and it doesn't teach you any good habits. But nowadays, these kids,
well, yeah, you just don't know what to expect.
And the right boys are a good example of that too. Cody started those kids getting on the right horses young, like, so you learn all good habits along the way. And those guys are obviously some of the best ever. Not saying that would have changed how I rode, but like we didn't know anything. We were getting on.
Well, but did your dad ride broncs?
Yeah, Dad rode broncs and barebacks, and Dad won Cheyenne 1971, the rookie bronc riding. He won the high school national finals, or second in the high school national finals in San Antonio in 1969. So like Dad rodeoed hard, but
well, and then what was his dad?
So my grandpa Charlie's name was Wild Horse Charlie. His name was Charlie Williams, but the Crow Indians from Montana named him Wild Horse Charlie because they used to bring him horses to break. So my granddad and my dad and Uncle Don and their sisters, were poor. Everybody was poor, right? But so they were just horse breakers, day workers. My grandpa Charlie just worked for folks, and so did Dad and Don. But yeah, they called him Wild Horse Charlie. The Crow Indians named him that because they claimed there wasn't a horse that could buck him off. They would bring him horses down from Montana to break. So it's cool. I got a song called Wild Horse Charlie. I've never put out yet, but I will.
Why haven't you put it out?
I don't know. Just the way putting music out is. I don't know.
Oh, you just haven't gotten around to it.
I'll put it out at one point. I just hasn't been in the lineup recently.
Yeah. What did he actually do for a living?
Grandpa Charlie was just a day worker.
He was, okay.
Yep. Like
starting colts and day working and
yep, herd sheep for people.
Yeah.
But Dad always said he never really wanted to, work for the oil field or none of that. He's like, I ain't doing that.
So pretty much poor, like.
Yeah, and
well, not
and they were poor. Dad talks about it like, but everybody's families were poor. But like Dad says he remembers when he was a kid, he had one pair of pants. So like, if they had to go somewhere decent, my grandma, we called Gram, would like hand wash them and then dry them in the oven. Like that's how he's like, I just had one pair of pants, and if we went somewhere, Mom would like wash them in the bucket and dry them in the oven.
Wow.
Like, okay, that's pretty poor.
Was that still what part of Wyoming would that?
So the northeast corner of Wyoming, Moorcroft. Yeah. So my grandpa Charlie had 13 brothers and sisters, and they homesteaded. Their dad homesteaded in Wilsall, Montana, which is in the valley there where Livingston's at. And somewhere along the years, they decided all of them moved down to Devil's Tower. They had a homestead down there, kind of close to the base of Devil's Tower. And then I don't know why they left. Like that Livingston Valley is great. So originally the Williamses are from Montana. Then everybody moved to Devil's Tower, and then everybody moved back to Wilsall but my grandpa. So he stayed in Moorcroft. So that's where our family came from.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then so your dad, though, started, what was some of the first work that he did?
So Dad was a ranch hand for ranchers. He worked for a guy named Bob Winandy, north of Moorcroft, 60 miles. I mean, it's in the middle of nowhere, 60 miles from any town, and was just a cowboy. He worked out of high school for the Kendrick Cattle Company out of Sheridan. If you've ever heard of the Kendricks, they had a huge ranch up there in Sheridan. Dad worked for them in high school, and then Dad college rodeoed a little bit, and then came back and worked for Winandy's. Worked there 8 years. Him and my mom got married. And like the house they lived in up at Winandy's didn't have a bathroom. They just had an outhouse. I mean, this ain't that long ago. I think they got married in 1972.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah, Mom's like, okay, I guess I'll go out and be your wife on this ranch. But so then Dad worked there 8 years. Then he quit and then moved to Moorcroft and worked for a family called the Robinsons. And I was born there and lived there till I was 4. Quit them and then had the opportunity to buy 23 acres just down the river where we live now. And it's a pretty cool success story. My folks, like, Dad was just a ranch hand. Mom got her teaching degree, so was starting to teach kindergarten in town in Moorcroft. And then Dad was just sick of working for somebody, as a ranch hand. He wanted his own place. He finally got this 23 acres where we live now and was like, well, I'll just work for the oil field or something to make it work. I just don't want to be a ranch hand anymore.
Or I got to have something of my own.
Yeah. And then the ranch that borders that 23 acres around the lake came up for sale, and he was able to buy it. It took him a long time to buy it. Most of my life, growing up, they paid on it, but he made it work. I always tell folks my parents made it ranching with only ranching. Most ranches are either inherited oil, coal, gas, where we're from. I mean, there's some sort of extra income that makes ranching work. We have none of that. Like we had Dad just ranching. All the income we had was ranching and Mom's school check, being a teacher. So they did it really the hard way. And then Dad ended up buying 2 ranches that way.
Yeah. Was it always predominantly sheep?
Yeah, sheep and cows both, but mostly sheep. Dad had ran partners on the sheep deal with a guy named Sam Stenson that moved to Mile City. He sold his share out to Dad, and which is the reason we got to lease that ranch that we had, and then ended up buying it. Yeah. So it's pretty crazy.
I had never gotten to really see the sheep deal.
Yeah, when you came out, we did the
That was I just really had never been around that. Mm-hmm. We don't really have that down here. Well, and then even just the vastness of because I don't have like a ton of connections with a lot of like the big West Texas ranches and stuff. And so a lot of the stuff like here, like down I-35 and stuff is just like smaller, Yeah. So even just going out there and seeing just the vastness.
That's the thing. Some of these Texas ranches, I don't know huge history about them, but they're huge, right? And there's
like a
lot
small,
of desert and stuff.
Few of them.
Yeah. I looked up the other day, we played in Dalhart one time, and they had that XIT ranch back in the olden days. It was 3 million acres.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's just
so it's hard to like wrap your mind around it, because there's a ranch for sale in Wyoming right now, the Pathfinder Ranch, and it's 915,000 acres. Mm-hmm. How big is that? I can't even put my mind around it. So I looked it up. It's bigger than Rhode Island. So if you think the XIT in Dalhart,
it's three times
that.
There's 3 Rhode Islands up there.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, it is crazy. Yeah, especially.
What did they say? XIT was 30 miles wide by 200 miles long is how much they had.
Yeah, I don't know how. Granted, it gets cold up there too, but I don't think it gets cold like where you're at. That's one of the saving graces of Wyoming, with everybody moving out west, is we have the cold. And like Montana is getting a lot of people moving in. And Montana and Wyoming are super similar, Eastern Wyoming and Eastern Montana are the same, and Western Montana and Western Wyoming are the same. Mountains, plains. But Montana gets the cold, but it doesn't quite get the wind and the hard cold like we do. I know, that is weird. I wonder why that is.
I don't know. The Wyoming wind is hardcore. So, if it's 20 degrees, if it's 0 degrees, it's 20 below or 30 below with the wind.
That's how your song goes, isn't it?
Yeah.
Wyoming wind.
Yeah.
It's pretty hardcore.
Yeah. We don't mind it, because if you grew up in it, it's like you guys down here in the heat. If you guys can take it, like, it's hot,
dude.
Today.
It's insane.
But the winters up there keep the tourists out, and it keeps people from moving in.
Hey, we were just talking about the South Dakota thing. Like,
yeah.
You guys just played like a week ago there, and we were there like, I don't know, maybe a month ago. And it was 104 degrees.
Yeah.
And you said it was insanely hot and humid when you all played
there.
Yeah,
we were in Yankton a few days ago, South Dakota, and it was the hottest I've been all summer.
Dude,
it was hotter than Denton, Texas.
So this idea that like if you're up there, it's like, but the summers are so nice. Granted, that was pretty out of the ordinary, right?
Yeah, and if you get East River in South Dakota, it's more farmland and stuff, and I think that's why it's the humidity's there, and the Missouri River. But
so you get the winters and you get 100-degree summer.
West River, South Dakota, and all of Wyoming and Montana doesn't get the humid, so it's not that bad. But like I said, Wyoming's got the wind, which we don't mind. Like I said, if somebody comes out in July that wants to move out there. They love it. But I say just,
Dude,
wait till February.
I'm so curious. You and I have talked about this a few times. And I just, there's definitely different like styles and just general vibes of cowboys in Texas. I think just because it's such a big place.
Right.
Like even if you go to East Texas, Southeast Texas, it's so different.
Right.
Than the Panhandle, and then West Texas cowboys are still a little bit different than the Panhandle.
Right.
Just even the way, just their kind of general personalities and stuff change pretty dramatically. But what I've always loved about Wyoming, and I haven't spent as much time in Montana as Wyoming, but what I've like always appreciated the most about it, it's like why you and I hit it off so quick,
right?
Is it's like you guys just don't have as much of this. It's probably ego, and you guys don't take yourselves quite as serious, even though you're doing the same work.
Yeah,
but there's just not like this. I can't quite put my finger on it because I go back and forth so often.
I always love teasing my Texas friends. Because like Texas is huge. So anytime I wear a cowboy hat somewhere in the United States, someone's like, "You're from Texas?"
You're from Texas.
There ain't no cowboys in Texas.
Yeah.
That's me teasing my Texas friends. I don't mean that because there's some of the greatest hands ever. But I don't know. I just think it's without pissing anybody off, I guess the Cowboys of Wyoming, we know what we are. We know we're as good as we are or not as good as we are. We're not trying to put on a front to anybody. And sometimes when we're traveling places, Texas and other places included, it's almost like they're trying to prove to you how much of a cowboy they am. Like we don't really care. Like it's not like a rating system of how good of a cowboy you are. Like there's people in Wyoming that brand different than we do, a county away. Not that their way is different or better than ours, or ours is better than theirs. We just do it this way. They do it that way. And it's like not really judgy. But I feel like,
I wonder if it's just as simple as like, there's been such heavy branding on like,
for sure,
the state of Texas,
the cowboy
Texas
hat thing.
cowboy.
It's like they've almost got to live up to it.
Well, and ironically, it's a lot of people that actually kind of aren't really actually that cowboy themselves.
Those are the ones that do it.
Yeah.
The real cowboys you never hear from. They don't say it ever.
They're not
They're
typically. It's so funny. Like the defenders of cowboys end up being people who aren't like really cowboy. And I've always like been confused where I'm like I appreciate you like waving the flag and being like, no, that's not cowboy.
I know.
But like I don't think you aren't one. So how do you
I
actually
think
know?
it's everything, the best football player is not telling everybody how good he is. He's just totally quiet. And like, so you'll know the real cowboys when you see them. They don't say much. They're not judging other people. And, with social media, the bigger it's gotten, the Western world, everybody eats themselves alive. Somebody will post a video of, say it's of us breaking a colt in Moorcroft or something, that you'll have 75% of the comments like, well, that's not how my granddad did.
No,
We don't do that in Texas, and we don't do that in Arkansas that way. Like, we don't care. But like the Western world, we need to get on the same page. We're all in this together. Like everything for the Western way of life is good. Whether you brand this way in Texas and we do it this way in Wyoming, all these comments back and forth, people are like, oh, that's not how we do it. That's not how we do it.
It should be more.
Who cares?
It should be more flattering too. Like the idea of somebody wanting to just, like a girl just loving all the outfits and being able to get dudded up like that. And then there's girls that are like, she just,
oh my gosh, fringes out, or like,
Western influencers ruining the way of life. And I'm like, good heavens. I'm like, look at her out, like take it for what it is. That outfit's like a piece of artwork.
Right.
The thing is like worth like a lot of money. There's a lot of people that built it.
And we probably see it from the Western world. We see it also, like, I'm sure maybe this happens in other worlds too, where people are.
Hey, no, look, it happened in hip hop.
Did it?
Well, for sure. Like the idea of being authentic and genuine, really from the streets. Like you're actually rapping about where you came from.
Right.
And then it got to such popularity and like everybody wanted to be like, whatever. I mean, I sound like an idiot, a gangster rapper type of, I mean, I don't really know much about that world.
Right.
But you would hear like the arguments about like, well, he ain't real. Like he ain't really from the streets.
Right.
Like they had it because it gets to such a level of popularity. And then you get, I mean, there's a little bit of truth about like keeping some like real authenticity to it because it does get so popular and then it gets so watered down where like, okay, now everybody's a gangster from the streets. It's like, no, you're not.
I know.
You're from Grapevine, Texas, you know.
Well, yeah.
From the birds.
And we've seen that in country music, you know. Yellowstone hit, Big Sky hit, and Cowboys are on TV a lot. Now everybody is, you know, wearing a cowboy hat.
I know.
And like, I don't care about that. I think if everybody wants to wear a hat and boots, I think it's great. What I don't like is when people are like overly trying to compensate their legitimacy of their cowboy upbringing by like telling you about it all the time. You know, like for years in music, I never told people like in interviews, I wouldn't bring up my bronc riding career because my friends and my colleagues are still going to the NFR. I can't be like, oh, I was this big old bronc rider. Shoot, I rode awesome. And I have to look my friends in the eye that have been to the NFR 3 to 10 times like, hey, Williams, why don't you tell us about your bronc riding career? You know, to me, it's.
You have like real friends that would make fun of you.
Yeah. Well, because I'm friends with real cowboys. Yeah. So like, I don't want to get too cocky in interviews and be like, yeah, I was this big old bronc rider. And I had a great career. I was happy with my career. Made the college finals a couple times, you know, rode like shit there. But that was about the extent of it. But like some, you know, artists get this platform that they get branded as maybe a cowboy or something and really lean into it. I'm like, I don't know, man. Just be you. Like you don't have to tell everybody how great you were and back it up. Just if you be you, like the truth comes out.
Yeah, it's just a lot of talk in it at that point.
And teach
I love just finding out cool things about people. Like if you're just telling people a bunch of cool things about yourself, it's a little.
And maybe that's what music is. Maybe guys like you and I should
not be in this industry.
like maybe not fabricate, but like embellish more stories. Like, I don't know. I feel like I like to be humble about my rodeo career just because, like I said, I don't want to look, you know, Zeke and Chet Johnson and all my friends that are still riding Broncs in the eye and be like, I seen this interview here. Tell me about how awesome you were. We rodeoed with you.
Yeah, it's accountability.
You were 62, a whole bunch.
Yep.
Yeah. So, you know,
just burning.
I just like to be like, I did it. Here's the amount of work I did in rodeo, and now I'm a singer, you know.
That's the way it should be.
Yeah. I mean, you know, and we go home and ranch in Moorcroft and we still do things cowboy way, horses, and we have sheep and cows and we ranch that way, but it's not like all the time.
Yeah, every time we've been in Nashville together, we usually just stand in the corner and we just have our little hats on and
try not to fight people that are like, are you guys real cowboys?
Oh, dude, it's nonstop.
It's like, oh.
I don't even, I can't even, my new answer has been, you a real cowboy? I say, less than most and more than some.
There you go. I like that.
That's my new phrase. Cause it's like, what level are we talking about here?
Right.
I'm from Decatur, Texas. So it's like in terms of rodeo cowboys, like I can swing a rope and like drink a beer and like ride a horse halfway decent. And like, I could go like catch some steers, you know? Like, but I'm going to be dragging my rope around like most of the day. And
yeah, that's like me. Like,
and like, cause in this area, like, I mean, it's just world champions. And like, so if somebody's like, you rope, and I'm like, no.
Right.
No.
Like I consider myself a decent hand, but like a lot of my friends in Northeast Wyoming are cowboys. Like,
yeah, but see, I've never had the opportunity.
I'm like, well, we're all the same. You know, I can do certain things and they can do certain things. You know, it is what it is. But I'm like, like I said, there's no rating system. Like, well, what'd you rate on your cowboy scale?
Well, and like, what are we actually talking about? Because like, I've like haven't really had the opportunity to like really go cowboy.
Right.
And there's a ton of dudes that I know that rodeo and are like badass,
Right.
but like they don't freaking.
That's the thing. It's again the Western world eating each other from the inside.
Yeah.
It's like, you know, can I rope like Trevor Brazil? Absolutely not.
Yeah,
You know,
no
like,
one.
who can? He's the best ever.
Yeah.
But can I ranch cowboy better than ex bull or bareback rider over here? I don't know. I've never seen him ranch, and those are two different types of cowboys.
Yeah.
And does that really even matter?
Yeah. No, it is.
You know, like
Because there's a part of me too, though, that when somebody is like bumping their gums and isn't really being authentic to who they are, it does bug me a little bit.
those are the ones that bug me because you know immediately when they're telling you how much of a cowboy they are, they're already not, in my opinion.
Oh, yeah.
Like all those guys in the PRCA that I'm friends with, not one of them's ever telling everybody how good they are. You know, and those ranch hands that are out here on the plains of Texas or the plains of Wyoming aren't telling you how awesome they are. It's the guy that you see at the bar that's telling you how good of a cowboy is. Like, that guy's not.
Well, see, there could also be, I've been around some dudes that are about as cowboy as they come, and which is a phrase that also I don't know if I'm totally comfortable with. And I just realized that. How else would I say that? They're as cowboy as anybody, as it gets, as cowboy as it gets. Yeah, that's a crucial.
What'd you say the first time?
I don't think I want to repeat it.
Yeah.
But I appreciate
you. Put on a shirt. As cowboy as they come, Jarrod Morris. We could work with the spelling on some of them words.
Well, I mean, you would know. You are from Wyoming, you know. So.
You mean the cowboy state?
Yeah. Well, no, I was actually thinking the Brokeback State, but.
No, they filmed that up over the ridge in Montana.
No, they didn't.
Yeah.
I thought it was a Wyo deal.
We'd have to look into that.
Yeah, well, we don't Google image it.
Never looked that up, yeah. I mean, we're the cowboy state, Lone Star State.
So what I was going to say is I know some guys that are as cowboy as it gets, and they're douchebags still. Like they'll sit there and talk like all the time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
For sure.
So it's like there is like a line of just like, are you a douche or not?
Right. That's what it boils down to. Are you a douche?
A little bit.
Right.
I mean,
it's probably in every industry.
100%, man. And I think there's just
be cool, man.
Yeah, just chill. Like chill out, dude.
Be cool.
We'll figure it out.
Yeah.
Like if you know, yeah, we will figure it out. But yeah, every time we've been in Nashville, almost every time I've been in Nashville, I've gotten into.
It's funny. I've watched Nashville evolve. So when I was working for Toby down there, like I'm a sheep herder from Moorcroft, Wyoming. I went to Nashville. It was the biggest town I'd ever really lived in, other than Laramie. It's not a big town. So I always, I wore my hat everywhere, kind of like I would if I was like, I don't like wear my hat out in Laramie, but if I go to the bar or something, there's an event going on, I wear my hat. So nights in Nashville when I first moved there, I just always wear my hat. Maybe I'd meet another cowboy. I was like the only hat in town. And I mean, all the time people would ask me about like, where'd you get that hat? Nice hat. Where'd you get that? I don't know. It's what I wore growing up. It's kind of how I dress. And, over the years it's evolved. Yellowstone hit. Now we go there and it's just Hatville, which again, cool. It's putting eyes on cowboys and the Western way of life. I think that's good. It's just a lot. And you've seen it like I have. That's evolved in country music, and I remember, we were putting cowboy music out, fighting against bro country. These guys are as bro as it gets, the skinny jeans, all the things, which to each their own. Those guys made a lot of money doing that. But even like some of those bro guys now are wearing cowboy hats. You're like,
that's where it starts to bug me.
You're like, what?
Because it does, like, which is, I think, what makes the cowboy thing, like, people feel so strongly about it.
Right.
If somebody was representing to be a bro country snapback hat guy,
right,
there's no depth to it. So nobody gets mad. Nobody calls out somebody being inauthentic. Like, you never heard somebody going like, you're not real, bro country. That's not the way we wear snapback around here. I mean, maybe those people exist, which is just, that's a totally other.
You forgot to take your sticker off or leave it on. I
leave it on. Yeah.
You leave it on or off. I'm confused.
And I think it's just in this world, there's such depth and such roots to it.
Right.
And it's so like woven into the fabric of like American culture that like people really, so it's a double-edged sword. Like,
and that's where I like people that dig in. So like Post Malone's a good example of it. People ask me all the time, like, what do you think about Post being in music? I think it's great. Post didn't just come out and start making country music just to sell some CDs or sell some streams. But like, if you look early on, he was doing so with Vince Gill and Brad Paisley before he was this Post Malone now. But I was just in Fort Worth. They said Post came in, wanted a pair of boots, like a real pair of boots at Fenolios. And so Post has really taken on this. He respects and wants to learn about the cowboy way of life and the Western way of life. So people like that, I like. I don't like the guy that just, because it's trendy, bought a hat and wear it just to maybe fit in with what's happening on country radio.
You know what's it's not even like it really bugs me. I almost kind of feel bad for him.
Yeah.
Because there's a part, even if it's you go out somewhere and I go to the stockyards now and it's starting to look like Nashville, like stockyards in Fort Worth.
Right.
And like every girl is wearing the same white boots. Like, and it would be the
Don't
same.
You have a pair of those?
It would be two, but
right.
It's a kind of different.
He does.
Yeah. Well, one's a little bit paler, different color.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's like, it's to be the same way as like, I've always thought it was goofy, like frat guys, like all dressing the exact same. But you could even say, I mean, shoot, like you could go to a rodeo and like all of us kind of look the same, like
we do.
I'm going to be in a Canadian tuxedo. So I guess in any walk of life, huh?
What are you talking about?
But I guess the difference would be like, are you going to, oh, I didn't even notice. Oh, you also got the tenny runners on.
I did that for you.
That's strong. That's a strong move.
The tennis shoes with the starched jeans, that's your look.
Well, you got to watch out for that because that's going to bring some hate.
You wear white socks too?
It's going to bring some hate. A little toe point into the camera. They can't handle that. A cowboy toe point.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my gosh. See, you got to be tough, dude. You got to be cowboy.
You got to be, don't be uncool.
You got to be uncool, man. You got to be tough all the time. But I can't do the white boots, dude. I don't know. It's tough because like people just doing, I guess I feel bad for people that never make a decision their entire life of whether or not they like something for themselves. Because like most people are so worried about like just fitting in. Yeah. No matter where they're at.
I know.
And there's actually like a lot of people that I get along with really well that I don't have really anything in common with them. Like we don't even have a lot of the same beliefs.
Right.
But there's a sense of just authenticity and genuineness that they have that they're just being themselves that I can like really appreciate.
For sure.
Even if
I got friends in Nashville that aren't cowboys at all or want to be. And like we're closer than some of these friends that are trying to be cowboys.
Exactly.
I'd rather go hang out with these dudes that are just bros that like hanging out with us.
Yeah. Yeah.
And like me for me. And I don't know. It goes back to just the being authentic. I think fans and people today, because of all the social media presence, everybody's on the internet all the time, and people have gotten really keen at seeing through what's fake and what's not. You can see it a mile away. I can be on TikTok and like, well, that was set up. I can, like even these like accidents that happen, like they set that up.
Yeah.
So people can tell if you're real or not. I think the fans, if you're not real, it might work for a second. It might work for a couple of years. Like, oh my God, this so-and-so is just like this and this and this. The longer your story's out there, the longer you have to keep backing it up. And if it does, the math doesn't add, you're like, wait, this is not great stuff.
Yeah. Cream rises to the top.
For sure. I've told my band that forever. We've been doing music a long time, but it's also taken us a long time to learn to play music. Not to play, but to learn the business and how to, there's no music scene in Wyoming. Like Texas, we learned a lot of stuff we do from all these Texas guys. Fortunately, like Casey Donahue, Aaron Watson, Stoney, Abbott, all those guys, when we were starting, we would open for it like Grizzly Rose, and we didn't know shit from Cheyenne. We were up there opening for these guys playing 90 minutes of covers, and we didn't know how to put on a show because we had nothing to compare ourselves to when we started the band. We were just like, I didn't know anything. I was a rodeo cowboy that kind of learned to play guitar, started a band. I was like, where do you plug this in? What is this for? So, I mean, we've had to learn everything literally from the bottom up, and we never had the opportunity to go out to Austin or these places in Texas or Fort Worth that have a music scene and watch other young bands. Like, oh, that's cool.
Yeah. Or like,
they got that gear.
We
What's
have
that for?
songwriter competitions like in every city, like
It's
every
so
other
great.
week, you know.
Like Wyoming's the least populated state. So we didn't know anything. We didn't know what we were doing. So that's what's taken us a while. But I've told the band that for years, you know, every time we've had a lot of great moments in our career, but you'll see some TikTok star now blow up. You know, it's, you know, as an artist, everybody's like, I don't care. It frustrates you a little bit, but there's nothing you can do, in my opinion, as an artist. That's out of your hands. You got to put blinders on, and what we do is what we do. That doesn't affect how anybody else does anything else. The only thing that affects us is what we do. But I always tell my band, like, hey, the cream rises to the top. You know, if we continue to do what we're doing, put out good music, not everybody's going to like it, but the ones that do will like it, and that's good. So you know, but at the end of the day, when the dust settles, I want to tell people that I did it the honest way. I didn't lie to one fan. I didn't fabricate some story to tell my fans to make me a little bit bigger. I'll sleep better when I'm dead, knowing that, like, well, we only got to hear, but I did it the honest way, you know, or it blows up and we still did it the honest way. It would suck to wake up every morning and look in the mirror and be like, oof, I got to put this image on and go tell these fans, here's who I am. This is what I came from. This is my upbringing. Like, and if it's all a lie, that'd be a little hard to stomach every day.
I really do have a hard time understanding like what the point of that is.
Just to be famous, just to make money. I don't know. And maybe I'm wrong on that. Maybe we should.
Well, yeah, you were
create a
talking
lie,
about
like, I don't
embellishing the stories more. Like I've started to notice more now that I do like more. Have to talk about myself more when I listen to interviews from other artists. I'll hear them describe like how a song was written or like some of these just different little stories here and there. And I'm like one hit me the other day. It was I was watching Bon Jovi. And
John Bon Jovi?
John Bon Jovi.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah. Well, I call him John.
Yeah.
He was on Howard Stern.
Yeah.
And he was asking him like how some song was written. And he had like this very definitive, like, I was on this beach on this day. And like the sun was setting here, and like my wife came over here, and then I saw her, and then like I played this chord, and it like made, and it was like this elaborate.
It makes you wonder, right?
Remembering, and like I don't remember. There's like maybe one or two that I remember like right where I was when I like maybe got an idea or something,
Right.
But like I don't know those types of details. Yeah. And so he's selling it. Make no mistake, it was TV worthy.
It's all like social. Obviously, as we know, social media has changed the music business, but it's all these things to embellish. Like,
okay, but
these rumors that come out, like so and so's son, and then it like gets all this trendy stuff. You know, it's obviously not true, but somewhere somebody in some label group is like, "Hey, we should put out this rumor that Jarrod and Chancey are brothers from other mothers."
I mean, other than
things like that get traction, and I assume the artist most of the time doesn't have anything to do with that, but the viral things happen. So that's kind of embellishing stories, right?
It's lying.
Just to get your face out there in front of more faces. It's a lie.
It's a lie.
Yeah.
Like telling a story that's not true,
right,
is a lie.
That's they call that a lie.
So I have a hard time with that part of the industry because there's stuff I sniff out that and then I have to use words like be authentic, when really all I'm saying is like, dude, just don't lie about who you are and where you are.
I know. Well, and that goes back to facing people after you do these interviews and podcasts and you've said a big lie and then having to go face these people. Like if I lie about how my family started ranching and my rodeo career and all this stuff, go home and see my brothers next week and my parents would be like,
yeah, good luck.
Seeing your podcast, a little embellished. I'm like, well, I have to do it to make myself big, you know, F that.
Where do you think you got that from? Upbringing,
I don't know,
parents,
man. Just
integrity.
I think having awesome friends growing up that bully you and call your shit out when it's not right, you know, if you're, you know, that's goes back to every kid should go to college. Because that, you know, first year of college and you're trying to be all cocky and stuff and saying things that ain't true. You got your buddy over there like, he's full of shit. That's not right. And you're like, okay.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, having roots and accountability, I think, is important with developing character.
You know, my biggest one is my rodeoing, man. Like, I loved riding Broncs, and I was decent. You know, high school finals, college finals, cool. I'm proud of that myself. But like, I have a shitload of friends that are really, really, really good Bronc riders, and they'll watch things like this. I don't be like, hey, bro.
Hey,
Yeah.
fortunately for you,
Nobody watches this. See, that's what bullying friends do.
Well, see, that's actually hilarious that we're using the word bully and friends in the same, because in today's day and age, you would never consider your friend being a bully. But like, well, have you seen the trend where it's like bring bullying back or whatever?
Me and my roommate Rob been saying that for years. Like, dude, bullying's what made me what I am.
Well, have you seen the ones now? It's like the counter to it, where it's like I already failed at not giggling at it, because I empathize with it, because I got bullied, I guess, and then I bullied other people, but
Right.
there was like I guess intent matters.
And to,
So, but anyways, my point was like, I see these like counter ones now that are like, bring bullying back. And it's like, yeah, tell that to my 12-year-old self who was stuffed in a locker naked with wrapped in fruit roll-ups or whatever, you know, whatever it is. And I'm like, good heavens, you know, it's like something really heavy.
right.
And I'm like, I don't really think that's not, when we're saying like bullying, that's not what I'm talking about.
Right.
Like picking on the handicapped kid is not what I'm talking
Right.
about. I'm going to beat that
That's what
dude's
we're saying.
ass.
For the record, we're not saying we should go bully kids, but
No.
it's teasing your friends.
Yeah, just like holding people accountable. Like
Right.
you can't just, and like even nowadays where it's like everybody's got some condition, like everyone thinks they're autistic. Like that's just turned out to be
Or
just like a phrase.
allergic to gluten or something. Like,
It's like, dude, come on.
agreed. If you are autistic or gluten allergenic, whatever,
Or both.
or
It's-
both, that's
you
be
know.
bad. But I'm telling you, what made me who I am is older friends that I was hanging out with. I rodeoed with my brother, his friend Tony, and Daryl Woolsey, these guys that were older than me. And I was, I could tend to be a little cocky when I was younger, and they put me in my place.
Yeah.
Bullying me. I mean, teasing, bullying, but like it made me, I was 17 going to rodeos with these guys that were like, 24,
Yeah.
23.
Yeah, so you got it.
Yeah, and I was, I was a little cocky when I was younger. I won state twice in wrestling, so I was like a scrawny, tall guy. There's like, I got a little cocky after high school.
Well, and also if you were chirping and somebody came after you, like you could defend yourself too.
Yeah, but like it took Daryl and those guys who were a little older to be like, hey, be cool, man.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, be cool.
I feel like that's just part of growing up.
It's growing
You can't
up.
just like bump your gums and
No.
not expect. But true bullying, that's not
Not
what
cool.
I'm-
No.
No.
Just to be mean to somebody. If you're doing it in like a mean way, for sure, that sucks. Don't do that. But like, if you're doing it to help your friend out, be like, bro, you have BO bad today.
Actually, that's very nice.
Right.
It's
but
a very
like,
nice thing to do.
if you don't have those type of friends, if you never leave your hometown, and that's why back to like every kid should go to college. So you meet friends that are just kind of blunt with you, like, dude, you look like shit. You smell like shit. You're going to try to get any chicks. You got to do this, this, and this. Like, oh, really? So
Dude,
like,
or just watching your buddy fail, like
Yeah.
he just totally bombs,
Mhm.
like going and hitting on a girl at the bar,
Mhm.
like, and you make fun of him. I mean, I'm sorry, that's just part of it.
that's part of it.
And
Yeah.
it's growing thicker skin. There's a huge element of it that if you want to find a way to like have your feelings hurt, you're gonna find it. Or if you can
That makes
use it
your
as a little
skin
bit of
thick,
fuel. I don't even know if I'm sure I've told this story on here multiple times, but when I first started playing, like I had some pretty ruthless cousins and some family members, and they would goad me into playing like at family reunions.
Oh, yeah.
And just, come on, play, you pussy. You know, like the whole thing. I mean, like it was, you know, and
then
I'd
boo
play.
ya. Boo.
Oh, 100%, dude. They were low boos though.
Oh, were they?
They for sure. They were mean boos, not just playful. And they'd stop me like in the middle of playing it and be like, "You suck." You know, it's like, "Don't ever do that again." But they'd like get me to do it, and I mean, sure, it created a little elements of stage fright, but the second I like had something, I'm like, I think this is pretty good.
Yeah.
And then I play it for them, and they don't stop me.
Yeah.
And they're like, all right.
It's just
Kind of begrudgingly, like they're like, that's pretty good. It made me better.
That reminded me of this story. Literally in college, one of our good friends, we were like sound checking somewhere, and we tried out a new song, a cover song at some point, and they come up and was like, dude, don't ever play that again. I'm like, okay. But you need that honesty.
Dude, what's the meaner thing to do is
like,
to
let
go,
you play it in front of
you're
a crowd.
amazing. Yeah, go play it in front of a crowd.
I remember him coming back, hey, don't ever play that one again.
So is that bullying?
No, that helped me.
Exactly.
Like, okay, can't really pull that one off. Thank you.
Maybe do you think it was just the delivery? They're like, no,
like the whole thing. Like
the whole thing was
all of
just
it was bad.
Like every bit of that was bad.
Dude, we had a lot of those moments. Like I
still do.
Well, we just, like I said, we grew up not knowing anything. We started this band, then progressed, and, you know, different members over the years, and not knowing how to put a show together. How do you play 90 minutes of our own stuff? Like, they don't know any of our stuff.
How do I make that interesting?
Yeah.
Write good songs. Oh, wait, what?
So now I can just magically write good songs. Okay. This seems hard. It is. But all those things you learn, I guess. Hindsight, I wouldn't have traded it for anything. You know, like my band right now is the best band I've ever had. Like band and crew, everybody's like, it feels pro finally. If somebody had told me 5 years ago, hey, we want to give you a record deal, think you're ready. Looking back now, I'm like, the F we were ready. We were not ready. Even 2 years ago, 3 years ago, I don't think we were ready. Well, I feel like, and I might say this again in 5 years, like we weren't ready with that podcast with Jarrod, but I feel like my band, our team, management, booking agent, like everything's in place that, hey, put us up with anybody. Like I wouldn't be embarrassed to play in front of anybody.
Yeah, y'all rip, dude.
Well, we've learned things, you know, like the right covers to do if you put covers in your set, you know, like and
a lot of people don't fully understand like touring nationally, being able to put together an act and a set that like is going to be able to translate, because you can get real niche with certain areas, and
we can play at Cheyenne Frontier Days and they know all of our stuff.
Yeah,
we can also play at, you know, Missouri State Fair and they've never heard of us.
Yeah,
so you know, we've never had a viral hit or a radio hit or anything. You know, we have a good following of a good amount of people, but you get in front of a crowd with, 10,000 people that's out of our market, that's, in the East, deep into the East side of the United States. That's where you got to kind of adjust your set a little bit. Like, maybe we should throw a couple covers in here tonight. Like, they don't know Fastest Gun in Town and Cowboys and all this stuff. And they don't also come from a part of the world. Like, as people know, most of my songs are super cowboy focused, not really farmer focused, a little bit rancher, but mostly just cowboy stuff. So if you get east of the Mississippi, they don't really understand our culture as they do in Texas or New Mexico or Montana or Wyoming. So those guys, if they've never heard us, they'll still understand my lyrics. But if you get East River, they don't know what Fastest Gun in Town means, or, some of these rodeo cold beer. There's like, I don't know.
Are not on the scale with which
right,
they
for sure.
understand it here. Yeah.
So
you have pockets, but
yeah. So, we've learned things over the years of how to, when a show matters in our backyard, like Cheyenne or something, let's give them everything of ours. Because that's what they came for. I have 7 albums out. We get other markets where they don't know us. Let's throw a couple covers in that, that we feel like we do.
Yeah,
good.
that's interesting.
Yeah.
Dude, that's crazy too that you freaking got to work with Toby.
Yeah.
That's so insane.
That was a super cool experience. So how long we got?
Huh?
Can I tell the story?
Yeah, you can do whatever you want.
You want to get me out of here?
All right.
Action.
It's action time.
I know that
All right,
because
so
I'm a big time movie star now.
Well, you got your name on it.
Yeah. Yeah. Thanks for spelling it right.
Yeah, that's a post. What are these called? Does anybody know what these are called?
I'm a big time actor and don't even know it.
That's a post P, Chancey W.
Yeah. I don't know what they're called.
Jared Morris Vibe Podcast, MVP.
Javumpa.
All right.
P.O.P.
P. All right. So what was the, you were about to tell me about about hanging with Toby and working for him.
Work for Toby. That was a super awesome experience. So the story's kind of long because how it starts, but it goes back to me being in college. So I went to grad school, and when I got my master's, I had to do an internship, and my master's degree is in public administration, which typically entails like going to work for a nonprofit or going to work for a senator or going to DC or something. And I had just had enough of college and political science, and I was like, I don't want to do that. So my department head at the University of Wyoming said, well, what do you want to do? Well, like, I kind of want to pursue music a little bit. I have this band, and she's like, if you find anything in Nashville, I'll sign off on it. Like, okay. I called Will LeDoux, Chris LeDoux's middle boy, and Will and I grew up together, friends. Will's great. The whole family's great. But I called Will. I said, does Chris's old manager do internships? Because this is at the time when Chris had already passed away. And he's like, yeah, he does. His name's TK Kimbrell. They do internships. So he hooked me up with them, and I flew down for an interview and said, yeah, I'd like to come down and intern to finish my degree. And I said, sure, we'd love to have you. We've never had anybody fly in for an internship where you work for free, but you're hired. So
if you're dumb enough to,
yeah. You want to work for free? Yeah. And you flew down here? Yeah. But I really wanted to go to Nashville and see the scene and live there for a second.
Yeah, but you're going to work for Toby.
Yeah. And so, TK Kimbrell also managed Toby Keith. So everybody's like TK and Toby, but yeah, TK Kimbrell was great. He managed Chris. He managed Sawyer Brown.
So TK is the manager.
Yep. So
Okay.
TK Kimbrell's the manager, and he, managed, a bunch of great artists. He's one of the most powerful / best managers in town. Like TK was great to me. So I interned at TKO in the mornings, and they said, the record label's upstairs. If you want to intern at the record label in the afternoon, you can too at Show Dog, which was Toby's label. It's like, yeah, I'm here. We'll be doing something. So interned there for 3 or 4 months, I think. And then TK's company said, hey, you want to stay in Nashville and work for us? You can. So I hired on. I was like, I'm here. I felt like I wanted to stay in Nashville a whole year. And I knew I wasn't going to live there forever. I love Wyoming. But yeah, some of my jobs working for Toby was being with Toby a lot. So when he was tracking records and singing in the studio, he'd come to town, and initially somebody else would drive Toby. So he'd fly in on his jet, private airport. You'd pick him up and just kind of stay with him 3 or 4 days until he flies out. And that guy quit, Brent, and they said, hey, you're going to drive Toby from now on when he comes in. I said, okay. And, I grew up as a ranch kid, when to shut the F up and when to talk. So they gave me this speech of like, don't be that guy that's like, hey. So I was just like super respectful, picked Toby up first time and did my thing. And Toby really kind of got to like me just because I was respectful, a cowboy way of being quiet, talk when they ask you to talk, and be quiet when you're supposed to be quiet. So yeah, I got to sit through those recordings when they were tracking albums, just a fly on the wall. I'm just sitting there going like, holy shit. And this is before I did Honky Tonk Road. So this is before I ever did a big album or a real album. I'm just watching this, like Toby Keith recording an album is freaking crazy. And then, became where Toby really liked me. He'd call me Wyoming, and I would just be respectful to him and drive him wherever he needed to drive. And his wife, Trisha, was great. And the whole family, great people. And when I moved to Nashville, I still had my rodeo van. It was an old 95 Chevy van. big conversion van that we rodeoed out of. And I was parked. I was dropping TK off one night at Lowe's at the hotel because Toby was going to go to the BMI Awards. He was getting honored with Willie Nelson. They were going to do a song together. So I was supposed to drive somebody, but not Toby. I roll up there in the van. Toby's like, "Whose van is that?" TK's like, "It's Chancey's." He's like, "Screw this limo. Let's take that van."
No way.
Yeah. So TK gets in, Toby, Jason, security guard. I mean, Toby's whole entourage. I'm like, holy shit. Like, Toby's in the van. I'm like, got my cowboy hat on, Wyoming plates, right? So we go to the BMI building and we're in line to get to the red carpet. And it's just, black SUVs and limos and this red and white 95 Chevy van. And the parking people are like, think I'm just a hillbilly that's lost. They're trying to like direct me out of traffic. TK is like, "Stay right here." We get up the red carpet and Toby cracks the door. He's like, "Hey, honk the horn." Toby Keith rolls out of this old van. So yeah, they go to the award show. Toby does his deal with Willie. And when I came back to pick him up, they kind of had us pegged, like all the pop. It felt like I was in a movie. All the paparazzi was like in front of the van, and TK's like, "Run them over." And he was serious. Like, TK is a great manager. He's like, "Run them over." Beep, beep. I was like, "I can't kill somebody. Ooh, excuse me." And so like, I think the van thing kind of bonded me and Toby even more after that. He just treated me so great. And I was living in Nashville. I didn't know one person. Like, I went down there. I didn't know anybody in Nashville. It was lonely. I come from Wyoming where I know half the state. It's like, oh man, I don't know if I like it down here. So years go on. I quit down there and moved back, start the band. And we were playing around Wyoming. We were playing at Cheyenne Frontier Days, the beer tent had got done. And it was like 2 a.m. I went back to the hotel room and the hotel phone rings. I pick up the hotel phone and they're like, "Hey, we have Toby Keith down here." I'm like, I was kind of alcoholed up. I'd been drinking.
After you drove?
No, this is like we were playing in Cheyenne.
Oh, okay.
So we'd already come home.
Yeah.
The hotel phone calls like, "We have Toby Keith." I was like, "Bullshit, put him on." It was like, "What are you doing? Get down here." We just flew in because Toby was playing the main stage the next day. I'm like, all right, so I throw on my boots, forget to put socks on. I just was such in a hurry. And he's like, "Hey, let's go cruise around the van." It's like 3 a.m. in Cheyenne. So he gets Jason was driving. We're driving around Cheyenne. Run out of beer. So I was like, "Let's go get some more beer." I'm like, "Yeah, they don't serve beer in Wyoming after 2. And I already had enough. And Toby's like, "I know where there's beer. Jason, go to the airport." So they go to the private airport and just key into the tarmac and just nose the old van up to Toby's jet. Toby's got whiskey and, stuff on the jet. We partied.
So did y'all just hang out on the jet?
Yeah. All night. Everybody's sleeping on there. I mean, Toby were up drinking. And all I could think too is I didn't have any socks on because I left in such a hurry. I just put my boots. I'm like, it'd be weird if I asked Toby for a pair of socks. Like, "Bro, you have any extra socks on here?"
Did you ask him?
No.
Oh.
But that night I did. I was like, I was feeling pretty good. And I was like, "Hey," I just threw it out there. I was like, "If you need help singing Should Have Been a Cowboy tomorrow, Cheyenne, I've been practicing it for all these years." He's like, "Be there tomorrow." And I was just kind of joking, He's like, "No, be there tomorrow. Come up and sing with me." 20,000 people at Cheyenne,
Oh, gosh.
So I was like, holy shit. So I, woke up in the morning and text Kurt Motley, his agent, who's now my agent. Like, "Hey man, was Toby serious about last night?" He's like, "Yeah, he's always serious." So I was like, all right. I just showed up. He's like, "Just come to the show early and we'll figure it out."
And you had never played Frontier Days at that point?
No, we had opened for like Merle Haggard and a few folks there before with my band. But like, I'm fixing to go sing Toby Keith's biggest song that made his whole career.
Like
in my backyard at Cheyenne in front of 20,000 people. Like, don't screw this up.
Yeah, and make no mistake. I mean, like typically when an artist pulls on like another artist smaller than them at a certain point in the set, it's usually at a spot where maybe they know the crowd won't be that into it at that point. But the second you pull somebody on stage, everybody cheers. It kind of gets them re-engaged, but they don't use their biggest song.
I tell people that all the time. There's stars in country music, and there's superstars. Like Toby was one of the superstars. You know, it's like Tim McGraw's, Toby, Keith Urban. Like there's those guys that are the superstars. How many of those superstars let their intern come sing their biggest song of their career? None. I mean,
yeah.
I don't know any of the other guys. But Toby's like, yeah, come sing Should Have Been a Cowboy. Holy cow. So like, he didn't tell me where or what to sing. He just called me out. Like,
wait, so you were side stage?
Yeah.
Who'd you have with you?
Just me.
Just you.
And I was up there with Kurt Motley, who's Toby's agent.
Yeah.
My agent now. And Kurt's like, you look a little nervous. I'm like, yeah, I am nervous. I'm very nervous.
Yeah, Kurt.
Yeah. And Micah was Toby's background singer. She's the greatest. She's like, oh, you're going to do so great. She's like, so I'm like, whew. So I went out and sang with Toby. You know, it was a memory that I'll have forever because Cheyenne's my backyard, my favorite rodeo. Sang with Toby Keith. Should have been a cowboy. Like, felt like a dream. And yeah, then years went on, you know, stayed in contact with their camp, and Toby was great. And then one of the coolest memories of Toby that I still have on my phone was I was singing the Opry, and Micah is also a background singer there. And she's like, hey, let's send Toby a picture. This is like not long before Toby passed. She's like, let's send Toby a picture. So we send Toby a picture from Micah's phone. She's like, hey, this one says hello. And Toby writes back, my oldest son. I was like, oh. Which I thought in the moment was super cool. I was like, oh, man, that's cool. Toby called me his oldest son. You know, and then a couple months later, Toby passed. So I like kept that picture. I was like, holy shit. You know, like just that, you know, not that, just that he thought that much of me. It was just, I was just an intern that kept my mouth shut, that did my job, and he respected that.
No doubt.
Yeah. Toby's the greatest, man.
That's so cool.
And then, you know, a couple years before that, we got to go out on tour with him for about 5 dates, and it was so fun.
Where did y'all play there?
Let's see, we did like, did one in Billings, did one in Sioux Falls, a few out east.
What years would that have been?
So it'd been like 23, probably.
Yeah.
2023.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was awesome. You know, and just, we were first to three. It was us and Colt Ford and Toby. But the fact that Toby was like, yeah, I have a chance to come out. And he told the van story one night to the whole crowd in Sioux Falls. He's like, oh, William showed up in his van. He's like, drive me to the award show. Like it's on, we have it on YouTube, but it's just, we've opened for a lot of big artists, and you know, 98% of them all been great, but like nobody's that down to earth. You know what I mean? Like all through the years, people will ask me, yeah, how cool is Toby? Like you see him on stage or TV, he's kind of this tough guy. Is like the greatest. I was like, if he was here right now, he'd be drinking beer with us.
Yeah, but yeah, he wasn't like necessarily maybe like a softie. Like he's probably going to cut up and give you a hard time. And
oh, dude, they're the kings of pranks.
Because I've definitely noticed when big artists get pegged as like kind of being a jerk, or oh, he's kind of full of himself, and that or like, you know, whatever, kind of intense or mean looking or something. It's like, well, are you kind of soft too? Like you kind of got intimidated and got your feelings hurt by them? Because that's not totally their
Toby
fault.
was very, very kind to all of his fans and to everybody and to his camp.
Yeah.
But also, like, don't cross Toby. He's, for one, huge. And, like, you know, he always rolls around with a security guard. Jason was a Marine, and you didn't mess with Jason. But, you know, that was for a reason. Toby could handle his own anywhere. Because everybody would be like, why does Toby need a security guard? I was like, if Toby punches that guy, they're going to sue him. If Jason punches him, he's doing his job.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was great, man. It was, which, you know, also helped me in my music career. So all those relationships I met through Toby have helped me in some way today. Like I said, Kurt Motley's my agent. That was Toby's. We were friends when I was an intern. TK is one of the best managers out there. I've called numerous times over the years just for advice. And he just told me yes and no on things. I remember I was young. Place wanted to give us a management/record deal. We were pretty young, and I called TK, and he's like, "Don't do it." And it was hard for young artists. Like, everybody wants a record deal. He was like, "Don't sign that. Tell him no." Like, okay, thank God.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
you look at some of these things, but yeah. So between Chris LeDoux giving us a break when we were young and Toby Keith, that's kind of helped me get to where I am today. You know,
What was the Chris LeDoux break? What was that?
That was even before Toby. Like Chris.
Didn't your dad go to college with him or something?
Yeah, so Chris, everybody from Wyoming knows Chris, but like Dad and Chris rodeoed together at Casper College and a little bit there. Chris was a couple years older than Dad, but they were friends. So we're growing up, we just knew kind of Chris as Dad's friend. I didn't. You were too young to know music and stuff. And then we got old enough to know, and we're like, oh man, like, that's Chris LeDoux. Chris is the king of Wyoming. And, I say this in every interview, that no matter who comes out of Wyoming, me or whoever, Chris will always be the king of Wyoming. He is.
Hell yeah.
He paved the way for everybody to do everything and, lived 2 lifetimes in half a lifetime. Chris died, I think, when he was 55 or I can't remember. But Chris won the world in the bareback riding and then was very successful in music. Like, that's 2 huge lifetime careers into half of a lifetime.
Well, and correct me if I'm wrong. Aren't y'all the only 2 that have rode in Frontier Days and played? Yeah,
and that's that gets brought up a lot in interviews. I love it too because it's a rare stat. For one, there's not a lot of guys that have rodeoed at that high level that have also played music at that high level. So yeah, for the 2 of us to both have rode there and played there is a cool stat to have with Chris LeDoux.
It's so cool.
But when we were young, we had this band in high school and we were playing these rodeos with Casey Knightley. Casey had a rodeo every Friday. We'd go down and ride Broncs. We went down to basically camp and drink beer with the KC kids, but we'd ride Broncs on the side. But Chris knew about us because his kids were the same age as us. Cindy and Bo and Will were all kind of around the same age. And so we knew them. We'd go out to their house and, have a few beers after the nightly once in a while and get on the bucket machine and stuff. And so we'd kind of been playing a few rodeos around and we were not good. Like, we're high school band, at this point we were in college, still not good. But, I'd called Peggy, I'd called their house phone to get Ned's number because Ned was living in Nashville and we were going to go down there for spring break. So I just called Peg. I was like, hey, can I get Ned's phone number? We're going to go to spring break in Nashville.
Is Ned the oldest boy?
No, Clay's the oldest.
Okay.
Clay, Ned, Will, Cindy, Bo. Yeah. But so I get Ned's number. I was like, oh, thanks, Peg. And I was like, I'm going to shoot my shot. I was like, hey, Peg, how would like a band like us ever get into doing like opening stuff? I didn't know how anything worked. Like, again, we don't know anything about music. She's like, oh, shoot. Well, Chris is right here. He's in the bathtub. Let me put him on. So like Chris gets on the phone. He's like, would you like to open for us in Billings?
Hold on. She said what? Chris is in the bathtub?
Yeah. She's like, Chris is taking a bath, but she's like, I'll put him on. I called their landline. This is in the olden days.
So this is Chris LeDoux sitting in his bathtub with one of those curly.
I assume. But Peggy and Chris were the greatest. Like Chris, I would see him at the high school rodeos and he'd be like, hey, how's the band doing? I'm like, well, shoot, we're awesome. We were not awesome. But like another example of a big artist like that, just going out on a whim for a nobody, like Chris is like, hey, would you like to open for us in Billings this August? I'm like, oh, geez. I mean, this would be the biggest thing we've ever played.
Never mind, we're not that good.
We weren't that good.
Yeah.
We thought we were.
Yeah.
There's a recording somewhere of it, which I'm trying to still bury out there.
Yeah.
It's not on the internet, which is good. But
We definitely wouldn't pull it up right now.
so Chris is just like, yeah, he's like, my guitar player and tour manager, Mark Sissel, will reach out, and he's like, just be there August 14th or whatever. I can't remember the date, but 2002. So we practiced our little set. We had like 45 minutes and just a bunch of covers. I think we had like one original song, but played them all about 1,000,000 miles an hour.
Yeah.
But I remember doing sound check and Chris walking out in the Billings in the Metra, they call it up there, listen to our sound check. And I was like, you just really want to do really good, because he went out on a limb and just let us open for him.
Yeah.
And never heard us, but as kids that heard us, I'm sure they're like, yeah, Chancey's band playing out at Barnum and this and that. And then I got off stage and Chris was like, man, it looks like you were meant to be on stage. I was like, really? Maybe that's what made me want to do music.
Whoa.
Yeah. I think it was one of those moments like, well, maybe I can do this.
Were you pretty unsure up to that point?
I mean, I don't know. I didn't know how to perform. I was playing bass and singing for us. And
Yeah, that's the other one.
yeah, I played bass for the first 8 years of the band, but I don't know. I just, I get compared to Chris a lot, and I tell everybody in every interview, like, I did look up to Chris a lot. He was a rodeo cowboy from Wyoming, but like, I never wanted to be Chris.
Yeah, what do you mean you get compared?
Just because of the rodeo thing.
Yeah.
And being from Wyoming, there's not very many of us. And probably the sound a little bit, like when we were rodeoing, we had all the Chris LeDoux tapes and CDs, and that's all we listened to going to rodeos. So like that had to mold my music mind of what I write about. And I like Fastest Gun in Town, and some of these songs I've put out, The Saint, The Saint is a song that Chris could have done, but we didn't intentionally write it that way. It just I think it's things you grow up with hearing. But I've never wanted to act or tell anybody in Wyoming I want to be the next Chris LeDoux. There'll never be a next Chris LeDough. That's one and done. He's the king of Wyoming.
See, what's really funny about that is like, I like the spirit and the energy of Chris LeDoux. I'm just like obsessed with.
Second to none, man.
And I mean, because I've dropped his name in a couple of my songs. And
Me too.
And I was always, but I don't have that much in common, like with him as a person necessarily. Like we just live different lives.
Right.
But just geographically where I grew up, like I've dropped his name in ways where I'm like even with my new music that's coming out, it's definitely rocking. It's got a rodeo rock thing.
Right.
But it also has like these kind of 90s grunge punk things going on with it too, which like came after Chris. So, but when Chris came out with his music, he was going for this. He was coming out of like arena rock and the big hair band stuff.
Yeah.
So he was kind of the first guy in country that was doing like, these like big rock songs, but in the cowboy rodeo thing. And that hadn't been done before.
When I met Cindy and Bo and Will, like they weren't listening to country music.
No.
They were listening to AC/DC.
Well,
like,
even to
we'd
this.
be sitting
yeah.
at those nightly rodeos and they'd be rock and roll. I'm like, these are Chris LeDoux's kids?
So he 100% identified like, wait, hold on. The thing that the rodeo cowboys want to hear is like this rock and stuff. But like, I don't sing like him. I don't like to sound like him. I don't like really write like him or anything. But the energy and the spirit of it, like I've told people, I'm like, oh yeah, I want to like go for the Chris LeDoux thing. But geographically, that's different for me. Like when I say it to people, and I've never been compared to him either. But when I say it to people, they don't have like, it's just funny that like you actually have you it's like you could be the next Chris LeDoux, but yet when you get compared to it, it's kind of a little odd.
Well, I just like, I like being compared to Chris? Sure. Like he was one of my heroes as a musician.
I don't know if I was saying that.
No, but like
right.
Heroes and cowboys and stuff was like my dad and stuff, right? But like in music is obviously Chris and George Strait and stuff, just because like they were cowboys. But yeah, I like being compared to it, but like I always tell people like, hey, don't put me in that category, because that Chris, there's a whole like in Wyoming, if you say somebody's like, if you talk shit on Chris or think somebody's better, like it's sacrilegious.
I guess that's my point. Is down here, just because of the geographic thing, when I drop, like people don't like drop his name that much down
Well,
here.
for you
So
guys,
when
it'd be
I
like
do,
Bob Wills and
Yeah,
George Strait
yeah.
down here.
well,
Like,
exactly.
Bob Wills is
So
still the
when
king.
somebody says I'm going to be the next George Strait, that's like sacrilege.
Nobody will.
But if you say like, oh, I really want to do that, I want to be like the freaking next Chris LeDoux, down here, people would be like, hell yeah, I love
Yeah.
Chris LeDoux.
yeah.
Isn't that,
And, like,
it kind
I
of
was-
sucks
I
too,
know.
because like it's,
Well, if you think now, like if Chris was still alive, like with this Yellowstone movement and all this cowboy underground type, like real authentic stuff, like Chris might be as big as Zach Bryan right now. Like because his stuff was so like real,
yes.
and like raw,
Yeah.
which is kind of why,
Why do you think Garth copped it?
dude,
That's the hot take right there. Live show and everything.
this is my
Dude, who
take
was the
on-
first guy running around with a little headset?
Yeah.
Oh.
This is my take on Garth. I think Garth was super smart friending Chris, right? Because I remember when I was a kid at the fair and these little rodeos, Garth Brooks came out. Everybody's like, he's singing songs about rodeo, and you could tell he wasn't. We were still judging cowboys back then. But like, Garth wasn't super welcomed by the Western world and rodeo people when he came out. Right? He was like, oh, he has a song called Rodeo. And we're like, psh, Laddie goes and this and that. And like, then Garth friended Chris. Smartest thing he did. Well, much too young made Chris and Garth both, I always say. Because that was like Garth's big hit. But he put a worn out tape of Chris LeDoux in there. So it kind of helped them both.
Yep.
But like Garth friending Chris was smart for Garth's career. Because the cowboy world was like, all right, if he's friends with Chris, he can be friends
Dude,
with
it's
us.
a tale as old as time with entertainment and
I think
showbiz.
it was smart, man.
Well, yeah, but that happens in like across genres and with everybody. Like you get
It
large.
gave Garth some authenticity in the rodeo world being friends with Chris LeDoux.
Oh, no doubt about it. No doubt about it.
I don't know if that's right or not, but I've always thought, man, that was because if Garth wasn't friends with Chris and still putting out rodeo type songs, would the rodeo world have been like, psh, poser? Or now that he's friends with Chris LeDoux, like, oh, okay,
Poser. We need to bring that back.
we do.
That's the perfect term. It's
Yeah.
just poser, and it doesn't have too much vitriol. Just a poser.
Yeah, so that's how I got started. Chris and Toby. Yep.
That is so cool, man.
Yeah. I've been fortunate, man, to be surrounded by some cool people.
Well, and it's turned into something really, really special. Because I've gone up there and opened some shows now for you, which you were very gracious to let me
loved
do
it.
that. So they're a blast. And it's just until you go up there and experience the people, like we did the White Trash Bash in April at the Laramie.
That's a fun one.
In Laramie at the Cowboy.
Mm-hmm.
Badass bar.
Yeah.
The owners are so cool too. Different owners than used to own it.
Yep. New owners are killing it too.
But the new owners, didn't they go to school there as
Yep.
well? And you've known them for a while. I
they
feel
went
like.
to school together. But yeah, the Cowboy is something special. And,
Dude.
and it's been good for a lot of years, but it kind of got, every bar owner gets tired at some point, but these new owners are killing it.
Yeah. And so how long you been doing that White Trash Bash?
Let's see. I think we figured it up last year, maybe 12, 13 years.
Yeah.
We started it as a Halloween. Okay. So like my band loves dressing up for Halloween.
Say it again.
I'll get to it.
Okay.
So we used to we still do take Halloween. If we end up playing Halloween, take it serious. Like the right costumes, details, everybody goes to the nines on Halloween. One day we're like, man, I wish we could dress up a couple times a year. Like what if we do Halloween, which is 6 months after Halloween?
Roger.
Half of the year. Like, all right, so that would be around April. Okay. Well, what do we do? Let's have a theme party. You do a toga party, office hose. There's all those theme parties. Like, we need to do something that's super easy for everybody to dress up because we're not going to get a whole bar full of people in togas, probably. Maybe. That'd have been fun. Like, what if we
it's pretty much the same thing.
what if we just have white trash? Like, everybody can just dress white trashy. Cut your sleeves off, put a mullet on, jean shorts, fake tattoos,
Oh, yeah.
missing teeth.
Y'all go all out.
Yeah, and so it was great. I mean, this thing is built into something crazy where it's just a thing. And during cancel culture, people are like, you can't call it white trash. I'm like, listen, I'm white trash.
Yeah.
I'm
What are you
making fun of
talking
myself.
about? Yeah. Jeez.
So that's a fun event. But
Dude,
man, having you have a shirt, like there's a a scene in the Wyoming, North, South Dakota, Montana that's like you guys' Texas scene that's hardcore, that people know the music and
they turn
like,
out, man.
Yeah.
And they get rowdy.
Yeah.
But in like such a fun way too.
Yeah.
They're so engaged.
Yeah.
And just I think it is. It's so rural up there too. That I think that like people are so excited.
There's not a lot of things going on,
Yeah.
especially in the winter. If there's an event, everybody kind of turns out for it. So it's good.
I've never seen anybody in our like world country music, folk, whatever you want to call it, Texas country. Like I haven't seen anyone crowd surf.
Oh yeah.
And I was never big into metal or anything like. I don't.
Right.
Micah? Do they crowd surf at metal shows?
Yeah.
Okay. Is that a thing?
Dude, we started that years ago.
You're the first guy I've seen. This happened twice now. The first night I met you, you crowd surfed.
Oh yeah, in Sheridan.
Yeah, because you like invited me up there to do a song or something, and you just went out, and then I was just on stage. First time I met you, and I'm just on stage, just like looking at all these people, and there's like 2,000 people out there, and I'm just kind of waving at, and you're just out there crowd surfing. I'm like, I hope he comes back because I don't really know where the song's going.
You gotta.
And then you did it at White Trash Bash too, dude. And like, there's like people like hanging from the rafters. I was like, this is so fun.
It's funny those places we play where people actually cut loose. Like there's places we play where people will drink. People will enjoy the show, but like I love those markets where people like get wild. Like,
yeah, but they weren't really disrespectful either.
No.
Like they were so engaged. They weren't disrespectful.
Like some places we play, people will be drinking, just like,
yeah.
But like I like those places where people they haven't been to town in a few months. They're ready to get wild.
Yeah, ready to turn it up.
Those are fun places.
I know, but even at that one, like when you played, you kind of have a down. Everybody has a little down part in their set. It might be acoustic. You know, that like the place was still turning upside down. You played some ballads, and they were still like in it.
That's a fun one. You should come do it again this year.
Yeah, that would be. That we freaking blow it out.
WTB.
But we can't do it any big. You've been doing it big for freaking.
Yeah,
that's why I want people to like understand that like you go up there and. Like the shows I've played for, I mean, there's thousands of people. That one we did for New Year's too, there's like 3,000 people out there.
Yep, that's a good one.
Huge shows.
Yeah, it's we've done well in our market. You know, we've played that area. It's like I said again, it's like the Texas boys have had their circuit. We kind of got that up there, and I think every artist will tell you that's the dream is to expand your geography to make what we have in Wyoming be that big in Texas and Oklahoma and Arkansas and Georgia and like. That's the dream. Getting that geography bigger.
Just get the word out.
Yep.
One White Trash Bash at a time.
One White Trash.
I had.
I have to.
You dressed me for that one.
I did.
Not like
not physically.
I mean, like you gave me clothes.
I gave you clothes,
but like some pointers. Yeah, correct. Yeah.
I don't want to be out. Yeah. Anyway.
Also, Brokeback that's Wyoming,
Montana,
dude.
I don't know the facts on it. You have to fact check me. I don't even know what that movie is. I don't even know what you're talking about. I've never watched the movie.
I'll show it to you.
You have it on DVD?
Well, I do private screenings every other week.
You would.
It's a bi-monthly private screening that we do.
I think the onset stuff they did was in Texas. I think it was Decatur, wasn't it?
It was Decatur, Texas.
Was it?
Yeah, that was Well, then most of the screenwriting happened here. Yeah, where they actually wrote the script.
For sure.
Yeah, that was all those Texas boys down here.
Yeah.
So it was set.
He pulled it up.
It was set. The story was set in Wyoming. However, it was filmed in Alberta, Canada.
Oh, there we go.
That makes more sense.
We should call Corb and have him verify this.
I got his shirt on.
Hey, Corb, they filmed a movie up there we'd like to have some questions about.
Chancey's taking a lot of heat for this.
Yeah.
I'm looking dead in the camera. Chancey's taking a lot of heat for this Wyoming Brokeback thing.
I've looked on every map. That mountain doesn't even exist in Wyoming, Kay.
Wait, hold on.
It's not even there.
I think it's a metaphorical mountain.
Thank goodness.
Dude, I love it. Thanks for doing this.
Hey, thanks for having me.
I think you're going with the plan of like, are you going to do an album or release singles as we go?
I've released a bunch of singles. I've released 7 singles since an album. So I think the next move is put them with a few new ones, package that as an album.
Totally.
And then start doing singles again. I don't know.
Is the most recent one Pearl Snap Preacher?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's such a cool part of your set when you play that one too. You
Bluegrass
do like a full bluegrass band.
Yeah.
Upright bass.
Yeah, Jay's awesome at upright. Wyatt never played dobro till about a few months ago. He's like, dude, that song's got dobro in it. I was like, I know. He's like, I'll buy one. I was like, ugh. You can't just like learn to play the dobro overnight. So Wyatt learned one song.
Yeah, that's
Well, actually two now. He's got Tin Roof too, but like Wyatt kills it on the dobro.
Oh, it sounds great.
I know. He just like learned it up.
What a cool part! What a cool part of the set. Like,
I know,
to be able to pull it down like that, and it's really
that
difficult.
song's special, man, and it kind of called for that bluegrass feel, and so we worked it up that way with another song. But yeah, Pearl Snap's been doing good. Video's awesome. My dad's in it. It's fun.
Yeah, and then the one right before that was Take One for the Team, wasn't it?
Yeah,
That's a fun
you were
one.
in that.
Yeah, your boy was in that one.
Yeah,
We had to cut a lot of stuff out of it, though.
We did.
Won't you take one for the team?
Yeah,
Yeah.
you got.
But
I cut some of your scenes.
Yeah, we had to cut a lot of them, I think. Unfortunately.
It happens.
With me, yeah, for sure. It happens a lot.
No, it's mostly me. Acting's hard.
Not for you. Well, you've been in movies too now. Now you're like a movie star.
Well, but what if I get cut from it? I've been telling everybody I'm in a movie and then I get cut. That'd be bad.
I can help you with that.
Okay.
I just got cut out of a music video recently. So,
You did?
Yeah.
Whose?
It's this guy, Chancey.
You didn't get cut. You're still in it.
Dude, you need to put out the hot dog. I edited together this video of you got a hot dog toaster.
Yeah, I got on TikTok, they sell things. There's a hot dog toaster.
Dude.
Yeah.
It's one of the fun, like I've never shown a video
They're
of
frozen in the
somebody
middle.
else.
Dude, I know you edited it. I'll put it out, I promise.
Well, no, even the raw footage of you.
The raw dog footage.
The raw dog footage of you cooking those hot dogs.
They haven't quite nailed down the science, right? They're burnt on the outside but frozen in the middle.
You said they are. I remember exactly how you said it. You said, yeah, they are unbelievably hot on the outside.
On the outside.
They're just
but
burnt.
still cold as
Still
hell.
Cold as
in the
hell
middle,
on
yeah.
the
So if you like a bit of both of these hot dog toasters.
It was like a double. Anyways, you need to post that video.
Deal.
It's the funniest thing ever. You need to do it over that clip right there. Hot dog toaster. All right. Well, y'all go listen to Chancey. He's unbelievable person.
Thanks for having me on, man. Appreciate it.
Same on the stage as off the stage.
Oh, I try to be.
And those are the people I like to be around.
Hey, thanks you too. Keep kicking ass.
Cow bros.
Cow bros.
Cow homies.
What? That's what ET did.
Peep, 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 peep.
Edit that out. That was,